Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. Well, there is one thing I'm not going to do on this episode, you guys want to know. I'm not going to be reviewing, of course, Rampage, since I already seen it up and close. But I will put in some clips from that on the upcoming video. Once I finish editing and everything else, you'll be getting that soon enough. But for today, we're going to be continuing. As you know, we get closer and closer to the end of the Best of the Super Juniors by New Japan Pro Wrestling. We are now declaring the two finalists in the B block who will walk out to face their A block competitors in order to get to Dominion. And I think this is going to be a fantastic event. And then, of course, we have NXT Level Up with 3 matches. We're going to see who's going to level up. But first things first, I have not seen this one, but I feel like many of you want probably a review from it if you're interested. As you know, there's an alliance between many Japanese promotions such as New Japan, Noah, Dragon Gate, DDT, Stardom, Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and they collaborated with their upcoming first big event, and Nippon Budokan. Of course, this one features, of course, many wrestlers from different promotions. And I think many of you are going to like it. This one is from the All Together event. Now, this took place recently on May 6th. It's going to be a fun event to go through. And then, of course, we cap it up with a very small news updates to give you guys updates what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, what's booked, what matches are set, developments in the world of pro wrestling, such as who's signed, who's injured, anything else, the whole 9 yards. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. I also do I also do, of course, real-timing news updates for all of you to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or leave us a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, I believe it's time to get this show on the road. So let's begin with United Japan Pro Wrestling's All Together. All Together. This is the alliance between many promotions in Japan. Now, if you guys missed it, a few months back, it was announced by later on social media, press conference, whatever. Many Japanese promotions have united under a single banner called the United Pro Wrestling, United Japan Pro Wrestling. My bad. So anyway, these are promotions within parts of it, such as bigger promotions like, of course, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, Dragon Gate, DDT, possibly All Japan, but in recent time they haven't participating due to some turmoil going on within their own promotion. Of course, Stardom's involved, Big Japan. We were supposed to have Tokyo Pro, but they also will indicate other promotions as well as we go. I'm pretty sure many of you would think that Mighty Gold will be stepping up into that play too. I would say so, but I wouldn't know because Rossi intends to keep his promotion isolated as possible. But we will see what happens until then. Now, this is their first show that took place early this month, of course, on May 6th at Nippon Budokan. Now, let's begin with the first match. First, we have now Michi Marufuji, Shinjiro Takagi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on the biggest scumbags on the planet in Japan, the House of Torture. Yes, guys, you know how the House of Torture is. We have Yujiro Takahashi, Ren Narita, and that sleazeball, of course, Evil. Now, you know when it comes to House of Torture, they tend to prove a point that they're better than everyone, but they're just a bunch of scumbags and crybabies. Of course, Dick gets involved. We thought that maybe things were going to go their way once they got rid of him, but no. Sho and Kanemaru decided to show up, and Evil was the one who picked up the win onto Tanahashi. I don't know if because of this match he thinks, hey, I beat you, that means I'm the president. Well, that doesn't work that way. He never put the presidency on the line, but that's why he's delusional. He's a little cuckoo. But anyway, that's how it rolls down. But, yeah. Now, moving on. Kosei Fujita versus Kenoh. Now, I don't know exactly what Fujita was thinking. He lately has been imitating the pose of Kenoh. You know, when he gets down on one knee and he pulls out his fist, you know, like that. I don't know what he was thinking, but Kenoh, he's the one guy you don't want to mess with. But you know for a fact. We know that Kosei Fujita has grown so much. We know that he's learned a lot of submission techniques. Kenoh, he's good with that too, but he's also good with striking. And that would have been one of his biggest factors. But, however, he did finish off Kosei Fujita with the professional foot stomp. And just like that, it was completely over. Now, we have our only Yoshi wrestling match involved in this one. And these ladies coming all the way from Stardom. We have Queen's Quest, Mayu Imasaki, and Azumi. They take on Natsupoi and Starlight Kid, calling themselves Mutual Love. Yes, it's kind of weird. Now, these two ladies, of course, as you know, they started interacting more ever since, of course, Starlight Kid was expelled out of Oedo Tai. I mean, before Kid was in fact expelled, she was completely not happy with the idea, but she was trying to find out what's going to be their tag name. So it was still unclear yet, but now that she's no longer involved with Oedo Tai anymore, so that kind of changed things. But however, we have seen recently, even though we talked about it, how Natsupoi and Kid has teamed up very well. I mean, their relationship is nothing compared like Kid and Azumi, who are eternal rivals, you know, but that's a different story. But I have to say Natsupoi and Kid did pretty good, you know, teaming very well. Not to mention, it was Kid who picked up the win with the Tiger Suplex onto Amasaki, just like that. And of course, we did saw they teamed up again later, and they worked up pretty well. Now, our next match, we have a battle of a bit of a hoss fight here, tag team action. Daisuke Sekimoto and Tomo Hiroishi, the Stone Pitbull, take on Masa Kitamiya and, of course, Jeff Cobb. So you know what I mean. These guys are big individuals. This is one of those matches where it is going to be a battle of the Haas in this one. I mean, it was fantastic. But someone was going to walk out. We know that recently we have seen Masa and, of course, Tomohiro Ishii. They have butt-headed on many occasions. But once again, Masa was no match for him. But, however, it wasn't Masa who actually picked up the loss. It was Jeff Cobb when he ended up on the vertical brainbuster, and just like that, Ishii picked up the win. But however, I think this led to the misconception that he will have to challenge for the New Japan World Television title. Now, our next match, we have a bit of a juniors heavyweight type match. We have Yamato from Dragon Gate, Shumna Katsumata from Dragon Gate, Dragon Bane and his brother Alpha Wolf from, of course, Noah, and then all the way from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiromu Takahashi. Yamato was very happy to see him, so he's like, he had that look. But their opponents, we have Kota Minoru from Dragon Gate, Mao from DDT, Ninja Mac and Hayata from Noah, and then, of course, El Desperado. So you would think this is like an all-star cast of the junior heavyweight competitors. But the real question does tell, can these guys get along? I mean, they are the best of the best in their own promotions. But the biggest factor is, of course, there was a misfire between Yamato and Hiromu. But in the end, it was, of course, Minoru Kota who picked up the win when he pinned Yamato because of that misfire. And I thought it was a fantastic win right there. Now, next up, we have Chris Brooks and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Kai and Taichi. So this, originally we were supposed to have Sonata involved in this one, but due to some circumstances, due to poor health, he was unable to. So he was replaced by, of course, Kai from Dragon Gate, and that kind of sends it. However, this was a very interesting match because, if you guys hadn't forgotten, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. were known as Dangerous Techers during their Suzuki Gun days, and now they're opposite sides of each other with two different factions. Zack Sabre Jr. as the frontman of TMDK, and Taichi as a member of Just 5 Guys. So I thought this match was pretty good, but however, it seems things were not looking well for Kai and Taichi. Taichi just punched the living hell out of him, but it was, of course, Taichi with the ghetto clutch onto Chris Brooks to pick up the win. Now, our next match, as you know, the war between, of course, the Bullet Club and LIJ continued on some time. However, we had Gabe Kidd and David Finlay teaming up with the leader of GLG, Jake Lee. They take on LIJ's Yota Tsuji, Shingo Takagi, and of course, Tetsuya Naito. So that kind of plays out. But of course, you were going to see a bit of a fight between them, but in fact, it was, of course, Jake Lee who sent them a direct message to Naito with the big boot, try to prove that right now that his time was up, because, of course, David Finlay is probably pissed at him for losing the IWGP World Heavyweight title to an outsider. But yeah. Now, our main event, we have Yuya Uemura, from New Japan, Shun Skywalker from Dragon Gate, and of course Kosa Fujita. You may know him from DDT and AEW. They take on Yuki Ueno from DDT, Shota Umino from New Japan, and of course the current GHC heavyweight champion Kaito Kiyomiya. I thought this match was fantastic. I thought it was pretty amazing. I mean, you weren't sure how this was going to end, but it was Kaito Kiyomiya with, of course, the Shining Wizard onto who was it? Oh yeah, onto Uemura to pick up the win. And of course, there was a post-match promo. Then everybody except for certain wrestlers did not appear, and they just did a group photo and all that. But as soon as the dust settled, we did see Bullet Club War Dog members show up and attack both Shota Umino and Kaito Kiyomiya. However, Gabe Kidd, who still has a deep grudge against Kiyomiya from last year's of G1, he is telling people, you need to shut the hell up. No one is the future other than me. He thinks that, of course, guys like Kiyomiya, Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, Uemura, they are nothing but trash. But of course, Gabe Kidd, once again, who's been known to steal belts from other people, stole the GHC heavyweight title. And of course, Jake Lee had decided to make fun of Kiyomiya, but it's not, of course, Kiyomiya that he lost, that his belt was stolen. The fact is, Jake Lee invited them over, was invited by Bullet Club War Dogs, and this is what happened. So I would say Keno, who's been very opinionated, if he ever listens to this, the fault was, in fact, the Bullet Club War Dogs for allowing, of course, Jay Lee's alliance with them to fall apart. That's what I would think, but that's basically what I would think. But of course, we do have another altogether event taking place in Sapporo in June, so stay tuned for that. But right now, let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We are now in day 12 of the best of the Super Juniors, but we're only focusing on the B block. Now, keep in mind, we already announced who's going to be, of course, involved in the A block, and I believe we do have TJP, and who else did I remember? I forgot. Oh yeah, and El Desperado. Now I remember. TJP and El Desperado are now in the semifinals, but who is going to be in the semifinals coming from the B block? Well, you're just in luck. We're going to do that. So basically, that's how it'll go. Now, our first match, we have Dragon Dia. Now, keep in mind, Dragon Dia is the only one who hasn't picked up the win since the start of the tournament, but he faces against a two-time winner of the best of the Super Juniors, Kushida, and of course, champion himself. But for him, he had a bit of a good luck charm with the arrival of none other than Ryusuke Taguchi. Now remember, he was supposed to be on this tournament, but due to a bike accident that led him to, of course, not to participate. But he was there. I have to say, him being there gave him good luck because he picked up his first one when he applied a DDT on Kushida. That was very interesting. But yes, so Dragon Dia may have not have won the tournament, but he may have got the 2 points he needed. So we'll see what happens in the future. I'm sure many people would like to see him again. Now, our next match, we have Ninja Mac versus Drilla Maloney. This was a vicious, brutal match that Ninja Mac has ever been in because, of course, Drilla Maloney, he is determined to destroy anybody that stood in his way. But however, he did pick up the one when he applied the Drilla Killer on the outside of the ring. But he won this match by countout. However, Ninja Mac barely moved, but it did allow for this match to end. So however, Ninja Mac ended his entire tournament ended here with 8 points. Drilla Maloney with 10. So that kind of puts it in a way. Now, our next match, we have Doiki versus Robbie Eagles. This was a very crucial match because this is one of those matches where, of course, one of them has to break the tie and move forward. Now, I did often said, Doki is one of my top favorites to actually win this tournament. And I thought it was pretty impressive. I mean, Robbie Eagles, who's determined to stop Doiki. I mean, Doiki tried the Doki Choki on multiple occasions, but of course, I'm sure Robbie Eagles was scouting that. He was prepared for it. I'm sure he was looking for ways to escape it, but apparently that wasn't help. I think maybe he got too careless because he ended up being on the wrong side of the Suplex de la Luna, and just like that, Doiki picked up his next 2 points with total of 12, and this is also another crucial information. The idea is this: if in order for him to continue in the tournament, Taiji Ishimori has to pick a win against Hiromu. So that ties in very aspects. So Ishimori has to defeat Hiromu Takahashi, a guy he has dealt with in the past. Now Doki, on the other hand, he has to watch who's going to go. So I kept my fingers crossed on that one because Doki is someone who's like a true underdog in the entire tournament. And then, of course, when he started pick up the biggest wins of his career, I mean, Hiromu was one of them. But let's move on. Taiji Ishimori versus Hiromu. This was one of those matches where, of course, Hiromu is not determined to lose to Taiji Ishimori, but Ishimori, who was determined to win this tournament all the way, he had to do that. So he did everything. He even did the time bomb in order to win the match, but it didn't do any help for him. But Ishimori did apply the Bloody Cross, which was the deciding factor to put away Hiromu. However, it was already foretold Doiki and Ishimori are now in the semifinals. So that means those two will continue on. However, here's the lowdown of the match. Doiki will be in his semifinal match against, surprise, surprise, El Desperado. Their history between those two that you would not Imagine. Those two used to be part of Suzuki-gun, but Despy always thinks of Doiki that he's nothing but a, pardon my language, nothing but a bitch. But we'll see that. Now, right now, I'm a bit biased with that match. But as for Taiji Shimori, he has to face against TJP. So that's going to be interesting. Now, TJP has to win this tournament because he has declared himself as the captain of the United Empire ever since Will Ospreay left New Japan to go to AEW. So we will see how that happens. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure many of you are waiting for that review. And once we do it, we'll get started. But right now, let's move on with NXT Level Up. Okay, who's going to level up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? Let's find out. Our first match, we have Uriah Connors, or as you formerly know him as Broken Finlay. That's right, this is David Finlay's brother and the son of Fit Finlay. He faces against Cutler James. Now, this was a very impressive match because of their background. Of course, as I mentioned, who Uriah Connor is, his family. Cutler, many people say he is a collegiate, one of those collegiate wrestlers. That comes in handy. But however, how would that be any different in this match? Well, the only difference was, as Connors, of course, was able to pick up the win by applying the infamous elbow drop that we have seen many people use over the years. Now, you would say it not be a big move, but it is effective. I'm sure Uriah Connors is determined to find his identity, but we'll get to that at some point. Now, we do see an interesting interview with Tariq Igwe and Tyson Dupont. As you know, they will be facing against No Quarter Catch Crew, but the real question is, can they actually handle it because of the No Quarter Catch clause? So we'll see what happens from there. Now, our next match, we have Stevie Turner versus Kendall Gray. Now, of course, Stevie Turner has been in a amounts of frustration over the fact that Jordan Grace, who is not officially part of the WWE Universe atmosphere, why does she get a title shot and all this? So of course we know. But however, she has to face against a wrestler who has made a good name for herself since arriving to NXT Level Up, Kendall Gray. Now you would think that would be Monday. No! Sorry guys, that was my mother. She thought I was in the bathroom. But anyway, let's get moving. So anyway, Kendall Gray, we've seen how fantastic she is, but I feel we can see high expectations from her, possibly. Well, not that high, but we can see her growth over time. But nonetheless, Stevie Turner, we do know she does have a lot more experience than, of course, Kendall. But it was like a bit of a face plant that put her away to give Stevie Turner the win. But as I said before, Kendall Gray, we will see her grow up even further. So we will pay attention to her even further and further as we go. Now, our main event, of course, is Tyson Dupont and Tariq Igwe taking on the members of No Quarter Catch Crew. Who was going to be involved? Well, it was, of course, Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. Well, that leads, of course, Damon Kemp. Now, we all know what Damon Kemp was going to do. We all know this happens. We see their dirty tricks all the time. And that happens. Of course, Kemp was going to interfere. He even grabbed Igwe's foot in order to ensure they can try to finish off, because it was Charlie Dempsey with the German suplex that sealed the deal. But however, the real question is, as you know, recently, the No Quarter Catch Crew are at war with the D'Angelo family, and they are determined to overrule the No Quarter Catch clause. But we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I think we are done with all the reviews. I believe it's time for news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So right now, let's begin with two updates with the promotions. The first one is with, of course, Beyond Wrestling with their upcoming event, Americana 2024, where Eagles Dare. This one will take place exactly on America's birthday on July 4th. However, they did announce a return from someone that you may have heard of. We heard him on the news. I don't know how you guys would feel about him. Drew Gulak. Yeah, I know some of you would think of him. He's a scumbag for all the things he did and all of that. Well, yeah, he's back and all that. I don't know how you guys would feel about it. I'm sure some of you would say F Drew Gulak, but it is what it is. He's back with the Independents. I'm sure many of you probably don't want to see him after what we've been hearing about him, but there's nothing we can do. So we'll leave it as that. Now, of course, promotion Kitsune Women's Wrestling has announced for the Yabai event that takes place on the 18th of August. 2 more names have been added for that event. One of them is Ray Lynn. So if you guys never seen her, Ray Lynn, I've seen her many times on various promotions. Not to mention she is the real life girlfriend or wife of Sam Adonis. So yeah, if you guys know who he is, Sam Adonis is the brother of Corey Graves. So yeah, so basically she's involved. But the second person they announced was someone I did not expect. This is one I definitely would like to meet one day. Yuna Manaze. So that's right, Yuna Manaze, if you guys don't know who she is. Yuna Manaze has been known to train many wrestlers over the years. Wrestlers like Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Maiko Ozaki, Sado Urinoi, Tai Hamna, Nao Kakuta, and of course the current Kitsune Women's Champion, Unagi Sayaka. So basically, there's a lot of names you can hear, but I wouldn't be surprised by some fate that Unagi may have to put her belt on the line against her former mentor. That is something we could definitely expect. But if it does, I definitely would like to know more about it. Now, let's jump into some developments right now. Now, Wrestling Observer reports, if you guys saw this on the latest ROH event that took place this past Thursday, it looked more like Athena injured herself. But however, it was later revealed that the ankle injury was not bad as they feared, but she is expected to return in a couple of weeks. So it's a good thing that she's not completely hurt, that the damage was not that bad. But hopefully they keep her on observation. Hopefully that she doesn't do anything that will mess up. Now, as you know, this past Tuesday, Sukeban were in LA. They had a show, an event taking place. However, it was reported that 2 names were in fact spotted in attendance. Now, you don't see them on the monitor or anything on your television or on your phone or wherever you watch it. It was told that, of course, WWE CEO Nick Khan was there. So it was very interesting to see him, but he wasn't the only one. As you may have heard, Renee Paquette was the commentator of that particular event. It was also reported that her husband, current AEW talent and the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley was there too. So it's interesting to see that. So I think people are probably thinking there's going to be scouts. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surpassed that from both sides. So we'll see. Now, there was a plan that Wrestling Observer reported there was a bit of a run, a plan that AEW were planning to do. If you guys remember, Big Bill and Ricky Starks were in fact the tag team champions. They reported that Big Bill was supposed to turn on Ricky Starks, but that plan was basically scrapped. I don't know how that would have worked, but we will see. Now, I did not know about this one because I was there on Rampage. I don't know why I missed it, but I decided to put it there. Roderick Strong reported that he was the 10th man that was supposed to come out, but at the last second, it was already over by Will Ospreay. He probably wanted to take a shot of the AEW World Champion, but it did not happen. Now, New Japan has announced there's going to be a press conference on June 4th. This one was given by Tanahashi. Apparently, he has some future plans he wants to go off. I am excited to hear what's going to happen, but we'll just have to wait. Now, Gable Stevenson, you remember he is the Olympic gold medalist. We were supposed to see him many times in WWE, but it never happened. But since he was released, it was now foretold that he has signed a 3-year rookie contract with the NFL football team, the Buffalo Bills. So it's interesting now he's taking a new interest. I don't know if I have any subscribers who are from Buffalo. You guys, I have to say, you guys are one lucky individuals to have a guy like him. You know, me, I'm not lucky because here in San Diego, we do not have a football team. That's right. We eventually are still pissed about it, and I'm not driving all the way to LA to go see the Chargers. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Now, you may have heard this one was reported by Dave Meltzer himself about Natalya. Now, as you may or may not have heard, Natalya has not re-signed a new deal with WWE. So that is rather strange. Now, some of you probably, we don't want to lose her. Well, I know, but it is happening. But this is what, of course, Dave Meltzer had to say about it. She hasn't signed a new deal. I don't know if that's anything to alarm over or anything like that, but you know the situation. Okay, so I'm sure some of you would think, not a big deal, she'll resign. But the real question, should we make it a big deal if she doesn't? I mean, that is a good question. I mean, if it was me, I would definitely put it as like alarming. But we still don't know much of the details, what's going on. If they're saying that her contract is almost up, then it's almost up. But the real question is, will she resign? That's something we don't know. But I'm sure a lot of people are going heads and tails about this, but it is what it is. We just have to wait and see what Natalya's next move is. Will she resign or will she leave the company? That is two things we have to wait for. So it's one or the other, just to put it out there. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for our news updates. I believe it's now time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you know, we have Collision. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do for the next episode. I know Collision is up, but I'm still debating whether I should put something else because as we speak, I'll be finishing up the upcoming DWZ at the wrestling event video, where, of course, I'm at LA at the Kia Forum for AEW Dynamite and Rampage. So, we'll see what happens. I'm still gonna. I have everything planned out for the next discussion video and the Unagi Sayaka watch. I just need the right timing to get it done, but we will see what happens from down the road. But as of right now, I will leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.